Hi there, hope you're well. Today we're going to take a simple fill that you probably already know, and I'll show you a few ways that you can spice it up and make it sound more polished and professional. And you can take these ideas and apply them to any other drum fills that you already know. As always, there's a free PDF in the description of all the fills played in this video, so go ahead and grab that and let's get started. So the basic fill that we're going to start with today is one that you probably already know and already use. And if you don't know it, well, you will in a moment, and you can go from there. For any of you in the US, you might have learned this fill as Pat Boone, Debbie Boone, whoever they are. And if you're in the UK, you might have learned it as Flats in Dagenham. Both of those sound equally as silly as each other. But when you're in a job where you have to say the word paradiddle 1,000 times every day, nothing's really silly anymore. However you may have learnt it, it sounds like this. Okay, so that already sounds good as it is. It's a really reliable, versatile, go-to stock drum fill that comes in handy in all kinds of situations. But if you want to make it sound more slick and polished, there's a few things that we can add into this fill to spice it up. The first one being ghost notes. By adding a ghost note after each eighth note in this fill, we can add more texture to it, and it's also easier to stay in time, as you're now just playing all of the 16th notes, rather than the broken up pattern that we started with. Be aware of your dynamics here. Try and keep the ghost notes really, really soft, while still bringing out the dominant notes that were already there within the fill. So you can get the most dynamic range out of this drum fill, and add as much texture as possible. Now we can add even more texture to this fill by adding a drag before the first note. We can also add another drag in just after the rack tom, replacing the second ghost note, to give more definition to the two chunks that make up this fill. Now develop this idea further by playing the drags after the accents. So use a right, left, left sticking pattern on the first two notes of the fill to add triplet ghost notes between these first two accents of the fill, leaving the final ghost note at the end of the fill as it was. Now, instead of filling the spaces between the notes with ghost notes or drags on the snare drum, let's use the kick drum instead to create more of a linear type phrase. The first half of the fill will be right, kick, and the second half, right, left, right, kick. Now you can start to combine this idea with some of the previous ideas. So play the same fill again with the kicks in the spaces and put the drag at the front of the fill. Now substitute the final kick in this fill for a ghost note. And the final way to really beef up this fill is to use flams. Start off by flamming the first two notes in the fill. Then bring the kicks and the ghost note back from the previous ideas. So we're now using the flams, the kicks to make the linear pattern, and the ghost notes to add some texture. Once you're more comfortable with all of these ideas, try them out in different combinations. Try moving the fill around the kit in different ways. Try different combinations of the kicks and the ghost notes, moving the drags onto different notes. Just see what you can do with it. And you'll have a really pro-sounding, textured drum fill that started off from a really simple idea. And you can reuse it loads and loads of times, even in the same song, without it sounding the same. You're kind of disguising the fact that you're just using the same pattern and getting more out of one idea. And of course, you can take these ideas and apply them to a completely different fill, a completely different set of 8th or 16th notes, and experiment with drags, ghost notes, kicks, and linear patterns in some other phrases that you already know, or in fills that you might learn in the future. I hope you enjoyed this video and you got something from it. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you want a great system to use to come up with your own fills, then check out this video, and I'll see you in the next one.